1 minute until showtime.
Oh! Well, we hit 100. It's not bad for the first time around. We got to get one more shot. See if we can get 102.
Oh!
Now, if it's another 100, we'll have to go with that. Okay.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Now, from the world's most famous beach, from where beach racing began, it's the Legends of Racing radio show. Live from racing's North Turn Beach Bar and Grill in Ponce Inlet, Florida. The Legends of Racing radio show with your host, Buzz McKim, and co-host, Gary Keller.
All righty. Thank you, everybody. Sure appreciate that. And Gary's gone today. He went back up to his homeland of Ohio for a couple of weeks, and we've got Rich Combs here today sitting in for him.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, it's nice to be back. It's here. You know, it's good. And you bring me back when you got a great guest. That's the way to do it. And
yes, sir.
Oh, man, I'm happy.
Yes, sir. Well, speaking of great guests, we've got this guy here, and his great uncle was somebody that I admired when I was a little kid. And I'll tell you that story a bit later on, but his name was Joe Petrali, who was probably the greatest motorcycle racer that I can imagine. I think Doc Batzelier will probably agree with that. And we've got Mr. Paul Petrali here today.
Hey, Paul. Thank you.
So good to have you with us, and thank you for bringing all this really great stuff. If you don't know who Joe Petrali is, check out the posters over here. They'll give you an idea of who he is and what he did and all his medals from all his championships. And the guy was phenomenal. He came to Daytona in 1937 and ran how fast?
136.183.
136.183 on a motorcycle on the beach. That's incredible. And here's a model or a sculpture of the bike. It was a special aerodynamically designed bike by Harley Davidson. And it used to be in the Museum of Speed down here in South Daytona when I was a kid. It was a beautiful bike. It was about the color of Richard Petty's race car. And they had a little scientific experiment there with this bike. It was called rolling resistance. And you could go ahead and spin that wheel, the front wheel, and there was no friction at all on the axle or on the bearings or anything like that. And you could go around and take a look at the whole museum and come back, and that wheel would still be spinning. And they said that was one of the things that helped was attention to detail like that on the rolling resistance, and plus the aerodynamics, plus the fact that Joe Petrali was fearless. That's for sure. Did you ever know Joe?
No, I don't believe I ever met him. If I did, I would have been a very small kid.
Mm-hmm.
I was 11 when he passed away.
Oh, was that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was from California?
That's correct.
Yeah, and his parents were from Sicily?
Grandparents.
Grandparents, okay.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the first thing you remember hearing about Joe?
Oh, when I was younger, the whole family was aware that our great Uncle Joe was a famous motorcycle racer.
Mm-hmm.
And then as the internet and the communication boom happened 25 years ago, we started learning more about him that was not passed on to the family, but we found out about it. Of all of the different things that he was involved in, as far as flying and timing and racing and a mechanic, and that's when we realized that he was more than just a really fast guy on a motorcycle.
Yeah, really.
Paul, can we stop here just a minute? We're not
Sure.
picking up your sound there. We move that microphone over in front of your lips a little more.
How about now?
give it a try.
How's this?
Th-
Testing.
All
All right,
right.
there we
all
go.
right.
There we go. And talk about the aviation aspect of this. Something I just found out today. He was a flight engineer on Howard Hughes' Spruce Goose. Goose.
Goose.
Not Goose. Goose. Amazing, which is the largest wooden plane ever built, I believe.
Yep.
Largest airplane ever built.
Oh, really? I'll be
Yes.
darned.
Yeah.
And he was a flight engineer.
He was the flight engineer. He started working for Howard Hughes about 5 years prior to the only flight of the Spruce Goose. My wife likes to refer to it as the Hercules,
Yeah, I can see why.
especially since it was made so famous in the movie The Aviator with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
However, that movie was not accurate.
Oh, really?
The truth is that Joe Petrali, as the flight engineer, and he was also the chief mechanic, knew that Howard was going to fly that plane. It wasn't last minute. Joe had to know because he was the flight engineer,
Right.
but Howard had already let him know what his plans were.
I'll be darned. Yeah, so he had to be on standby. One of the things that amazed me about the museum out at the Speedway, the Motorsports International or the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America, was that they have some of Howard Hughes' memorabilia out there. They've got his map case and some other things. And Howard is a member of that Hall of Fame. And so now, and Joe has been a member since 1992. He was one of the very first members of that Hall of Fame. This is the trophy that they gave him, and the thing absolutely weighs a ton. And that was Joe Petrali's trophy for joining the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America. And how did Joe get involved in motorcycle racing? Do you know that story?
Yes. The very beginning is Joe was born in San Francisco in 1904. And a year later, they moved to Sacramento because there was a nice settlement of Italian immigrants there
Okay.
for work. And about a year later, San Francisco caught on fire with the earthquake and everything.
Oh, yeah.
And so the Petrali family in East Sacramento lived only about a half a mile from the State Fair, which had a huge racetrack. When Joe was a little boy, probably around 5 to 7 years old, he and his friends would pry the fence boards away so they could watch the racing at the racetrack.
Right.
Joe stuck with it. I mean, he was taken by racing ever since he was a little boy. And so later on, he became a pit boy. He was running errands for all of the racers and some of the famous racers. And by the time he was 14, he was already pretty good on a motorcycle.
Really?
And he then entered an economy run when he was 14 years old. And he went further than anybody else on a gallon of gas.
Really?
By just laying down on the motorcycle, and he went roughly 176 miles on one
Holy
gallon.
cow. Is that right?
And he won first place on that, which got the attention of the manufacturers of the motorcycles at the time, Harley Davidson, Excelsior, and Indian.
Yep. Yeah, so he made headlines, I guess, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Isn't that something? Well, then they had board tracks back in those days, you know, the big, gigantic tracks made out of 2x4s and, 45-degree banking and all that kind of stuff. And the bikes really, really flew on those tracks, and I believe Joe raced on those tracks too, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Around 100 miles an hour. He was famous for not putting his foot down at all.
Oh, really?
He was the guy to beat. There was a time in the early 30s and the mid 30s when other racers, if they had found out that Joe Petrali had signed up for that race, they would not sign up.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. He was the big gun.
He was. In 1935, he won every race.
Really?
The AMA race in his class.
Holy cow. That's simply amazing.
Yeah.
That is something. So how did the deal come about on this motorcycle here, this Streamline bike? Was it something that the manufacturer came looking for him to do?
That's correct. He was already racing for Harley Davidson and had already made his mark as, at that point, the greatest racer still ongoing. So Harley Davidson decided they wanted to take the record back they had introduced this new knucklehead engine a year before, in 1936. And they said, with this engine, we know that we can take the record.
Yeah, that brought a smile to your face, Rich.
Oh, yeah. Everybody here knows knucklehead engines. I mean, that's if you've been around bikes. So.
Yeah. So what they did is they decided to create this streamliner. The motorcycle was actually created to fit Joe's body.
Really?
So as he was obviously the only choice to attempt to do this. Back then they were still setting records on the beach in Daytona.
Right.
And once they got it done, now there is a copy of this motorcycle in Southern California, and it's yellow. And the original is blue, and that's in the museum at Harley-Davidson in Milwaukee.
Oh, is that right?
So that brought up a lot of question. Was it yellow or was it blue? And the answer is when they had built the bike and they were just getting ready to ship it to Daytona, it was yellow, and they were advised that yellow was not really a good color to be associated with at the time.
Really?
They just came out with a new color called Delphine Blue. And they said, why don't we put the new color that will help advance this, the sales of the bikes that were in Delphine Blue. So just before it got shipped out, they brought it back. They repainted it Delphine Blue, and that was the color that raced on, or he set the record on the beach.
Okay. Yeah, very similar to Richard Petty's blue. Yeah, very, very similar to that.
Yes.
Yeah, very, very pleasant color.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? So, 136 miles an hour, almost 137. That's
Right.
incredible.
Yep.
Well,
You know, what's so interesting right here is you're talking about he was doing efficiency runs at the same time. And, you know, the Europeans always looked at speed runs, but they also looked at efficiency runs. And when they did it in cars, and you'd be surprised the cars that were efficient, but then they would also try to run for speed, and that became a big deal. So when they published it, and even the pure oil results, you know, they used to run on the beach here. They had efficiency runs in that too, but we never hear about them. All we hear about is the speed. So that's great. What year was that? 35?
This was 1937.
37.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they had the pure economy runs at the Speedway all the way through the 60s into the early 70s, and all the manufacturers would bring all their cars down, and they'd have to see, you know, like passing and fuel economy and 0 to 50, 0 to 100, that sort of thing. And that was a big deal. If your brand won the pure economy runs, then that was some great advertising for you. Yeah.
You know, also, all of the power plants in the United States, whether it's Duke Power, Florida Power, Mississippi Power, it doesn't matter who they are, every year they have what they call a thermal efficiency run. And so they're all competing. It's like racing, but you and I never hear about it. It's out there, and that's how they decide. This plant's not working as good as this one, and they're changing it. But, you know, everybody's looking at thermal efficiency, and that's really what it is.
I'll be darned. That's something. You know, this, I'm still in awe of this sculpture right here. It's so incredible. And you say a fellow in England did that?
A fellow in England sculpted that by hand.
Wow.
And
it's phenomenal.
I was able to get a hold of it.
Yeah. Where did you ever find it? Or you can't tell?
Well, I know I got it legally.
Oh, well, that's good. Okay. Yeah, that's amazing. So now your father is David Petrali.
That is my cousin.
Oh, your cousin.
Correct.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was your uncle. Yeah. Does David have any stories about when Joe was running the board track? Was there anything related to him?
David wasn't really born. He was born in 42.
Oh, okay.
Joe was done with the board tracks at that time.
Right. Yeah, board tracks ended up, by 1930, they were pretty well gone.
Yes.
Yeah, but he still tore up the dirt tracks, though.
Yeah, he did the uphill climb.
Oh, yeah, the hill climb. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
yeah.
he also, there were many years where he won just about every race or every climb, so
Wow.
to speak.
No kidding.
Yeah, he was very versatile. There was a lot of things that he had accomplished.
Yeah, evidently he had a lot going on there.
Yeah.
And how about his aviation career? Was he a pilot?
No, he was not.
No.
He did take care of Howard, who needed to be taken care of.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
He worked for Howard Hughes for almost 10 years.
Did he really?
He was. My dad used to always say that your great uncle Joe was Howard's right-hand man,
Wow.
and it turns out that he was.
Isn't that something?
It was well known the way that he met Howard Hughes was after he was done with his racing career, and he had already done some things in Indianapolis for a mechanic in Southern California. And he was a carburetor specialist, and he was helping out at Indy. And then he went back to Southern California, and he was with his family there running the midget cars.
Oh, okay.
So that was a hobby, and he got a tip that something big was going on in Culver City. You might want to check that out. They're building something in Culver City. So Joe went down to Culver City, and he found the big structures that they were building, and he was asking around, and he was able to meet one of the foremen. And the foreman was asking him, well, why are you so interested in what's going on? And Joe basically said, I was just looking to see if there was something I could do to help out. And at that moment, Howard Hughes walked up,
Wow.
and Howard was introduced by the foreman. He said, Howard, this is Joe Petrali. And Howard Hughes said, oh, I know him very well from Indianapolis.
Wow. No kidding.
So Howard Hughes always knew what was going on in the world with speed and things. And the moment that he met Joe Petrali, he immediately said, come on, Joe, come with me. And he was instantly now working for Howard Hughes. That's the way Howard did things.
Oh, son of a gun. It does sound a little bit like
Yeah.
Trump.
Pretty much. Exactly.
Hey, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Paul Petrali.
Thank you.
Paul.
The caution flag is out. Time for a break. We'll be right back with the Legends of Racing radio show. At Beach Boys Embroidery and Tees, it's all about making you happy. Beach Boys Embroidery can customize your athletic golf apparel, caps, hats, badges, buttons, magnets, backpacks, bags, totes, clocks, watches, oh, and of course, T-shirts. Sure, they're at 2033 South Ridgewood Avenue in South Daytona, and they're waiting for you to call now. 386-255-5880. Beach Boys Embroidery and Tees. Let Aloha Marine get you on the water with huge discounts on great brands like Bayliner, Carolina Skiff, Hurricane, Key West, and Regal. Pay as little as $169 a month with 10% down and approved credit. Don't wait. Get to Aloha Marine, 1700 North Nova Road, Holly Hill, Monday through Saturday. 47 years and always better than boat show prices. We're back from where it all began. Racing's original North Turn Beach Bar and Grill. The Legends of Racing radio show continues with your host, Buzz McKim, and co-host, Gary Keller.
All righty. Thank you very much. We're here with Rich Combs and Paul Petrali, and we want to thank everybody out there for tuning in and seeing what we're up to today. It turned out to be a pretty good day, after all. It was a little chilly this morning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it worked out real well. Real good.
Well, there's a forecast. I'm looking out at the ocean there. There's a forecast for high surf today, and we've definitely got it. But it's nice to see it. I mean, I love to see those waves breaking out there.
Yeah.
This is a great place. And for all those folks who are not here today because it's near Christmas and it's cold, we hope to see you next week back here. Come on in. You never know who you're going to meet. A lot of times, our guests for the next week or for somewhere to the next month comes right out of the audience because there's such important people coming in. And you've probably done the same thing. You've probably been here and somebody tried to drag you in, right?
Not exactly.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah. Well, this segment's being brought to you locally by Staples on International Speedway Boulevard. Anything for the office? anything you can imagine, they could probably fix you up. And also, you can go to YouTube and go to Legends of Racing Radio, and you can check us out live, or you can go an hour later and we'll post the show on Facebook. So, YouTube, hello, and Facebook. There we go. YouTube and Facebook. That's it. And Paul, you mentioned that there was a foundation. What is that foundation all about?
So the foundation was created because we started realizing a couple of years ago that my great uncle Joe Petrali was being forgotten about.
Yeah, pull that out a little more. We're losing your voice there. Yeah.
How about now?
Oh, perfect.
Is that it? Good deal.
That's
All
it,
right.
there.
I can taste it now.
I could see Doc and I could see Mike. They're saying no. So they want to hear this story.
So to get to the foundation, we realized that Joe was being forgotten about, and as we learned more about the museums around the country, the ones here, there was not much about Joe Petrali. And there is a full-size bronze sculpture of this that was done by Jeff Decker, the world-renowned sculptor, and he's the official sculptor for Harley-Davidson.
Wow.
That existed here. It was at the Corbin facility, Mike Corbin.
Right.
And then it has since been donated to Dale's Wheels Through Time in North Carolina. There's nothing else in Daytona that commemorates what he did on the beach in Daytona. So that the bronze statue is, there are 6 of them, I believe, in the country. It's in Utah, on Main Street in Sturgis, and in other locations, but not in Daytona Beach. So after we decided to kind of resurrect everything that my great uncle had done, we realized to be able to get a monument built in Daytona Beach was we were going to have to get involved a foundation. And we were a little annoyed that everybody knew who Eddie Bauer was, but they didn't know what he did. But nobody knew who Joe Petrali was, and he had done a lot of things. So what we decided to do was create the foundation. We did that in California. And then the foundation was to raise the funds so that we could have a significant monument built on the grass near where the Daytona 200 monument is.
Oh, yeah. That's great.
And what happened was we set up a meeting this February of this year. We still lived in California with the city of Daytona. Jim Strickland was the main one who agreed to this meeting. So we held a meeting with our presentation on what we wanted to do. And it was supposed to be two people in the room, and 8 people were in the room. They all wanted to know, interestingly enough, who was Joe. So after we were done with the presentation, everybody was thumbs up in the room.
All right.
They were all very interested in it. They were all on board with having a monument built. But they did say, one, it has to withstand 200-mile-an-hour winds.
Oh, yes, because it'll be on the boardwalk.
That's correct. And then the other one was who was going to take care of it. At that point, I looked and I said, well, we'll handle that when it comes. When the meeting was over, my wife and I, we left. We looked at each other and said, looks like we're moving to Daytona. So we did 2.5 months ago. We arrived in Daytona, and we're working on promoting what we're trying to do with Joe out on the beach.
That's fantastic. Fantastic. Is it coming along well?
I believe it is. Doing shows like this definitely helps.
Good. Hopefully we'll be able to be of some benefit to you.
Yeah. I also want to do a shout out to my new boss, Don Cooper.
Oh, yes.
From the American the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America, right next to the track. Yeah.
Do you have any idea what the monument will be made out of? Will it be sculpted from stone or something?
We have an idea. It's going to be a sizable monument.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be actually larger than life, and we're looking at granite. and it will not be a reproduction of this bike because they're all over, and we want Daytona to be special.
Oh, okay.
So it's going to be larger than life. It will mainly be granite, and that is it for now.
I guess we'll find out how it goes.
There is a depiction of what it would look like on our website, which is the Joe Petrali Foundation.org.
Oh, good. We'll have to
Okay.
check it out.
Yeah.
That was my
Great.
next question.
Sure.
How do all the people get into that, and we get the name out there, you know?
Yes. So you can follow along with what we're doing and look at pictures in the website on your phone, the Joe Petrali Foundation.org. And there is a picture of a granite depiction of the way it's going to look.
Oh, that's exciting. That is exciting. How far along are you? Just getting started?
Just getting started.
Okay.
We're just getting to understand the city and where the good restaurants are. And,
Oh, yeah.
you know, which freeway goes which way. And, but we are meeting a lot of great people. And like I had said, with the help of Don Cooper and other people, they're helping us along with you and this radio show. So yeah, I think we're going to be successful.
Well, that's terrific. We sure wish you the very best. And yeah, when Don called about a week and a half ago, he mentioned, I think I got somebody for your show. And he told me who you were, and I just stopped in my tracks. I said, this is terrific. Because Joe Petrali's been a part of my life since I was just a kid. And then he went on to do AAA representation, right? He was out in Bonneville Salt Flats for a long time.
He was the official timekeeping steward at Bonneville for USAC, and also for another car club. I'm not exactly sure, but it was mainly the United States Auto Club.
Okay. Oh, it was USAC. Okay, right. So it wasn't AAA.
Right.
See, so I got my facts right after all.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's get to the point here.
Sure.
We like to help people out. We're always doing things. What can we do to help you now? You haven't said, I need people, I need money, I need... What can we do?
I need money. Actually, we could use, if there's anybody out there, we are looking for a media specialist to work and to volunteer for the foundation. Everybody is a volunteer.
Yep.
We have two directors that are still in California. And my wife and I also, Linda, we run the foundation. And other than raising the funds, we could use somebody who can help us with media and social media and those kinds of things.
Yeah, because when you see...
okay, good.
That's amazing. When you see how many Harleys are here during Bike Week, and then you go to Sturgis and see how many are out there, and there's an awful lot of potential donors out there if they're real Harley people.
Sure, sure.
Yep.
Well, I'm just excited about the fact we got something like that coming here. That, you know, there's so many things that's happened in Daytona in terms of speed, particularly on the beach. And we've got to figure out what we want to make bigger, what we want to recognize. And I didn't know this story, and I'm thrilled with it. I want to help you.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Well, we could use it.
And I can probably get 2 or 3 guys right out there now in the audience who are putting their hand up. Right, Mike? There you go. There's one right there.
All right.
Harley guy.
We got Doc right there,
Yeah.
Doc Batslier. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
We had never heard of Daytona being the world's most famous beach.
Oh, really?
Now, that's interesting that we came here in February. We saw the sign. We loved that. But we didn't know why. But the answer was actually with us the whole time.
Ah, yeah, right.
It was speed and
there
racing.
you go. Yep, exactly.
Yeah,
And he's such a part of that story.
exactly.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
wonderful. Yeah, they went a few years ago. They went ahead and they did a beautiful monument to the Daytona 200 right there on the boardwalk, and it's a magnificent piece, great big piece of granite, and got sketches of all the different drivers or riders that won, and to put that sculpture right up there with that would be very, very appropriate.
Oh, I'm glad you think.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, that's the only place for it.
Yeah.
Because he sailed right by that spot right there, you know, right where that boardwalk is. That was part of the course.
That's correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really wild.
So tell us about the rest of your family. I mean, this got it started. We've jumped over a couple of generations here. You're working on it. What's happened in between? Any more motorcycle riders or?
Currently, right now, my brother Tony and myself are the only ones that ride.
Oh, really? Do you ride a Harley?
I do.
I would hope so.
I actually ride the one that if Joe were still alive, he would ride.
Oh, really?
Does anybody have an idea what that might be?
Oh, golly, Road King, maybe something like that? No?
V-Rod.
Oh, was that right?
Yeah. So,
That would have been his bike of choice. Huh?
absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, we're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back with Paul and more great stories.
The caution flag is out. Time for a break. We'll be right back with the Legends of Racing radio show. Racing's original North Turn is our broadcast headquarters. If you're looking for a good drink, great entertainment, and the best in food, they're right on the beach at Racing's original North Turn. Come on down to dinner tonight. Here are a couple of testimonials. These are actual testimonials from people who have enjoyed the North Turn. Been there many times, always great food and drinks, great location on the beach. And another, what a great experience. It's my new favorite restaurant in the Daytona Beach area, Racing's original North Turn on South Atlantic Avenue. That's A1A in Ponce Inlet, about 3.2 miles south of the Dunlawton Bridge and A1A intersection. It's Racing's original North Turn, a restaurant, museum, bar, gift shop, live music. That's Racing's North Turn. Thanks to you, the original North Turn Beach Bar and Grill has been voted top 10 beach bar in Florida year after year after year. We're back from where it all began. Racing's original North Turn Beach Bar and Grill. The Legends of Racing radio show continues with your host, Buzz McKim, and co-host, Gary Keller.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And we've got Rich Combs with us today with Paul Petrali. And this segment was brought to you locally by the Daytona Flea and Farmers Market, voted one of the top 5 markets in the whole country by USA Weekend. And visit our Shop Now network and our Shop Now at Daytona Flea and Farmers Market Facebook page for the latest in vendor tours. And it's Tony time, the bottom of the hour. And hey, Tony.
Tony time.
All right. You got a question for Paul?
Well, not so much a question, maybe just some things I found out looking around.
Mm-hmm.
That the speed record motorcycle originally had a fin on it.
Oh, really?
And when he started running it, made it a little unstable.
No kidding.
So this was not just show up and hop on and run.
Mm-hmm. I'll be darned.
This was science.
Mm.
You mentioned board tracks.
Mm-hmm.
And just saying that doesn't do them justice at all.
No.
There was a board track in St. Louis, was a quarter-mile long, 62-degree bank.
Gee, that's crazy.
That was in like the early 1900s.
Uh-huh.
Board racing motorcycles had no suspension, no clutch, no brakes,
Oh, my gosh.
no throttle. All you had was a kill switch.
Oh.
So you were either full out or
Choo-wee.
possibly worse.
And intestinal fortitude, too, huh?
I mean, you talk about iron men on wooden tracks.
Yes, they certainly were. Yeah, they were incredible.
That's an amazing bit of history.
Yep.
I just ran across that.
I do have some information about the tail fin that was put on. Obviously, it looks like it was for aerodynamics. And it's commonly known that the tail fin, when Joe was doing the trials with it, was too unstable because it was fighting each other with the two low pressures on both sides of the fin. So, but that is not actually the truth. The truth is that tail fin was welded together with lead. And when he got up to speed, the front wheel basically started to lift off of the salt.
Oh, my gosh.
Or the sand, I'm sorry. It did wobble a little bit, but he was more concerned with the fact that the front wheel was coming off of the sand. So
Wow.
they took it off mainly for weight. So
It's amazing.
Sure.
And the other thing, I'm not a motorcycle guy, but I can appreciate all that. Being the flight engineer on the test flight of the Spruce Goose. I mean, a lot of people don't know what that is anymore.
Right.
I've seen that plane.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
just
an amazing part of history.
the plane now is at the Evergreen Aviation and Space Museum in McMinnville, Oregon.
In Oregon, really?
Yes.
I didn't know they moved it.
Ah.
They moved it a couple of decades ago
Oh.
from Long Beach.
Yeah, that's
And-
where I saw it.
Right.
I'll be darned.
It's a beautiful museum. In case you happen to be in Oregon this weekend or something.
Yeah, we were just talking about running out there for the week, you know.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
No, it's a massive, massive structure, and you
Yes.
can't believe that it could ever get itself lift. The amount of lift you needed to that big heavy thing off is just impossible.
Right.
So he must have known what was going on. I mean, you know, if you're the flight engineer, you know whether you can do it or not. So
Yep.
That's right. The actual story about the flight was, as shown in the movie, that Howard decided that after he had taxied the Spruce Goose, he was just going to fly it because Howard did what Howard wanted to do.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
The truth is that Howard had already told Joe he was going to fly it.
Really?
Now, we know this because Joe told his wife Florence, and Joe also told his son, David. So what had happened was he told him, I am going to fly this, and when I bring this back, I need most of the press or all of the press off of the boat. And he also removed the co-pilot
Oh, really?
because he knew that the co-pilot was going to protest that Howard was going to fly the Spruce Goose. So he had him come
Yep.
off. The co-pilot did not know it was going to fly, and they left a mechanic, and the mechanic got in the co-pilot seat. It was not a weather professor.
Oh, really?
So what happened was after they were all gone, mainly there was 3 and maybe a couple of more people, but the press was not loaded in the back like you would see in the,
Sure.
in the movie.
Oh, my gosh.
And that's exactly what happened,
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he surprised everybody
except for Joe.
except for Joe.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah.
That's,
Now, were they planning on regularly flying that if they had passed the test?
The only reason that he flew it is after being grilled in Congress. Howard came back and said, I'm going to fly that plane. We're going to make it fly. So that he did, and then he was done with it.
yeah.
And there was a crew that maintained that airplane down in Southern California for many, many, many years before they decided to build the dome
Oh, yeah.
in Long Beach.
Right.
And it was right next to the Queen Mary. And then,
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And about 20 years ago, they took it apart, put it on a barge, and brought it up the Pacific coast into Oregon, and then they loaded it on trucks and all these different ways and brought it into the museum.
Wow. What a feat that was in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Howard was kind of like the Elon Musk of his day, wasn't he?
Yeah, I guess. I do know that Joe was sworn to secrecy on every move, everything he did with Howard, along with all of the other employees of Howard Hughes. And he was at Howard's beck and call. So Joe's only thing that he would respond when Howard said, I want this done, all he would say is, okay, Howard.
That's all you have to say.
And that's what he needed to hear. But Joe's wife, Florence, did not care for Howard.
Oh, is that right?
Well, because she never knew when Joe was going to be taken away and
Oh,
never
yeah.
knew when he was coming back.
Yeah. Oh, isn't that strange? Almost like being in the service.
Yes.
Well, we have to realize also Howard was a strange character,
Yeah.
and your wife will pick up on that in a hurry, right? That's what happened.
Yeah, he was an unusual cat, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's something. Yeah, that's so. Is there ever any chance that they would bring this motorcycle back to Daytona for a speed week or something like that?
Well, I'm glad that you asked that. The bike that was donated from my friend Mike Corbin. He had it donated to Dale's Wheels Through Time. Believes that we will be able to bring that back.
Oh, wouldn't that be
back.
nice? Yeah.
Hoping that if the Hilton is listening, that we can put it in the lobby there,
Oh, that'd be awesome.
and that would help us with our cause of eventually getting the
Oh,
memorial
sure,
there.
sure. And we can have a bake sale right here.
Yeah.
What the heck?
If
That's
anybody
right.
has a flatbed that they don't need, we can go get it and bring it back. I would appreciate it.
Okay. Hey, we're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back with Paul.
The caution flag is out. Time for a break. We'll be right back with the Legends of Racing radio show. Daytona Flea and Farmers Market is still the one for great savings and the best variety. Whether you need flowers and trees for your home or you're looking for great prices on Daytona Beach souvenirs, the market is the place to go. The market features 1,000 booths, 2 air-conditioned malls, a restaurant, and 9 snack shacks. Hop's Grill features gourmet burgers and garden blend salads. Treat yourself to a great variety of brat and hot dog creations at the Dog House, or enjoy a refreshing drink at the Seltzer Oasis. The market is open every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and is 90% undercover, so you can shop rain or shine. There's never a charge for parking or admission. Enjoy our monthly classic car cruise-in on the first Saturday of every month, and garage sale weekend, the third weekend of every month. See all we have to offer at DaytonaFleaMarket.com or like us on Facebook. Discover Daytona's most unique shopping experience, the Daytona Flea and Farmers Market, just a mile west of the Speedway. We're back from where it all began, racing's original North Turn Beach Bar and Grill. The Legends of Racing radio show continues with your host, Buzz McKim, and co-host, Gary Keller.
All righty, thank you. We're here with Paul Petrali talking about his great uncle, right?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, Joe Petrali, who was a legend in motorcycle racing, and then Howard Hughes, who would have guessed? That's incredible. And then USAC with the timing and scoring out of Bonneville and all that. This segment's being brought to you by the Homewood Suites by Hilton over on Bill France Boulevard. Beautiful place. Every room's a suite. They have a complimentary breakfast and a complimentary happy hour. And they're nice people, and if you have anyone coming to town that you want to impress a little bit, you can go ahead and hook them up with the Homewood Suites by Hilton right there on Bill France Boulevard. And it's time for Larry. Hey,
Larry.
There we go.
Well, all right, Paul. Thanks for being here, for one thing. I appreciate
You're
you
welcome.
taking the time out of your schedule to come and visit us. Being from Flint, Michigan, I have some friends that raced AMA a lot. You know, Bruce Springsteen, or Bruce Springsteen, Jay Springsteen. Bruce would appreciate that.
Yeah.
Jay Springsteen and Scotty Parker and some of those guys.
Oh, boy.
So, have you ever been to the 200? Do you go to the 200 and watch those guys race?
No, I haven't.
It's pretty awesome. Maybe check it out. Where was Joe from originally?
Sacramento, California.
Sacramento, California. And where were you raised at?
Sacramento, California.
Really?
Yeah. That's basically where the whole Petrali family is.
Very cool.
A lot of them have moved away for different reasons.
Right.
But the Petrali family is mainly in
Basically there.
Sacramento.
Very cool. Well, thanks for being here, man.
Oh, You're welcome. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Larry.
Yeah,
Thank
Larry.
you. And speaking of Sacramento, that's kind of around grape country and wine country. And oh, well, look at that. Speaking of wine, we got Joe Petrali wine right here. And we're going to sample it a little bit, aren't we?
Yes.
Yes.
Going to take a little bit, huh? Oh, you just jumped right in there,
Yeah,
didn't you?
hey, I'm ready.
Yeah, okay. Very good. Yeah, well, if you care to pour, that
Okay.
would be just great.
Do you want to tell us about that wine first?
Sure. Because I've been involved in wine for many years, pouring for different wineries and started a club and poured for the State Fair of California, I decided that I wanted to commemorate my great uncle by seeing if we could get Joe Petrali wine done, basically. So I was working with Mark Henry from the Montaliva vineyard and winery in Chicago Park, which is in California, believe it or not. And when I saw on his menu that he offered a wine called Nito d'Avola, which is a Sicilian grape, a Sicilian wine, which is not very well known. But it's a big wine. It's a very dark red grape, and it was doing really well in California. And I asked him if I would be able to get the Nito d'Avola and get Joe Petrali's label on the wine, because Joe Petrali is Sicilian and the wine is Sicilian, but they're both from California.
Yeah.
He loved the idea, so a couple of years ago he agreed to do that, and about a year ago he called me and said, it's not ready. I tasted the wine. I know it's going to be good, but it's not quite ready. And I said, well, when will it be ready? And he said, another year. And then I thought, okay, well, good things come to those who wait. So a year later, he called me, and he said, what are you doing? And this is Mark Henry. And I said, I'm going to your tasting room to taste the Nito d'Avola. Is that correct? He said, absolutely. So I headed on over there, and we tried it, and it was absolutely fantastic. This is a really big, unique, and rare wine for you to be able to get your hands on. And I happen to believe that because it was a Sicilian grape, and it was raised and bottled and made in California, that it's probably the best Nito d'Avola in the world. So we decided that we're going to taste it right here.
Yes, we are.
Now,
Yes.
one thing is this wine, now I'm going to get very commercial here for just a moment.
That's fine.
This wine is available to purchase on our website, thejoepetralifoundation.org. When you click on the wine, it will take you directly to the Montaliva vineyard, and they will ship it to you. So we're going to go ahead and try this. This wine is best at right about that temperature, and also best when it's opened up for a long time. The reds have to open up. This one has to open up for a long time. It's quite good, and it's been open for a while, so we shall see.
Cool. I can't wait. Talk about fringe benefits to this job. My goodness gracious. This is great. You going to drive home, dear? Oh, man. Got a lovely bouquet. Yeah. Not too shabby, huh? Oh, that's wonderful. What do you think there, Rich?
It's drinkable. Let's pour some more. No, it's good. It's very good.
Isn't that nice? Got a nice little zip to it, huh?
Well, I know Colleen will be on she's a wino. She'll be on the website, and she'll be ordering this afternoon. So expect to see an order coming in. This is very good. So,
You
yeah, I
should be
like
very,
this.
Very proud.
Yeah.
Very proud.
Thanks. I didn't make the wine. Mark Henry did, and he's actually one of the most brilliant winemakers, I believe, in the world.
Well, that's wonderful. And then the proceeds from the wine sales go toward the foundation?
Absolutely, 100%.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful. Very good.
You know, that's really good right by itself. And usually for me, red wines, I like it with a meal. I like it to be a compliment to it.
Right.
That's good by itself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Would it be
that's
nice with a steak?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. What do you do? What do you drink the wine with? Do you have any meal that you like to use?
Because I've been so involved in wine, I don't need anything to.
Oh,
My favorite wine, I always say, is free.
oh yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
So, but yeah, this wine would go great with pasta.
Oh,
with a
okay.
rich red sauce. But yeah, with any type of meat, a nice steak. This wine also, I failed to mention, did win gold in California.
Did it really?
So
good.
yeah,
I'll be darned.
that's when we decided to double the price.
Oh, good for you. Yeah, well, you earned it. That's for sure.
Well,
that's
you know,
wonderful.
we've got the folks here from Wisconsin. They're all tied into the Pabst Brewery.
Yeah.
They drink Pabst with everything. I want you guys to get a taste of this. I want to change your way when you come in, okay?
There's always room for improvement, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's Tom and Vicky. They come visit with us every winter.
Yeah.
And they'll be going back sometime. We don't know when, but for racing, Tom brings in a 28 Dodge with a Hemi.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Quite nice car. So, yeah.
Yep.
I'm getting off the subject here, but you know, wine causes you to do that, right?
Yeah, it certainly does.
Good.
Yeah. It makes your clothes come off.
Another feature that we have of our foundation is we give grants to young motorcycle racers.
Really?
And that is so that they can stay racing and keep handlebars in their hands.
There you go.
And not game controllers.
Oh, hallelujah.
Yeah.
That's great.
So our first award was given to a young girl, and you can see her on our website. Her name is Leanne Emerson, and she was awarded the first 12 years old.
Really?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Holy cow.
And she's so fun to watch and compete with the boys out there. And she just recently turned 13, I believe, last week.
Yeah.
And when we interviewed her, we asked, how long do you think you're going to race? And she said, oh, I don't know. I really just want to own my own track.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun. We did talk to some of the young riders that were 7 and 8 years old, and we asked them,
Oh, my gosh.
why are you out here getting dirty? And they looked at me funny, and I said, wouldn't you rather be at home playing video games? And they shook their heads, and they said, that's not real. This is real.
Oh, man. And to have that kind of, wherewithal at
Right.
that age, that's pretty amazing.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So there's hope for the generation after all, huh?
We hope so.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll keep busy and out of trouble.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Well, you know, you're one of our guys now. You really believe in the legends of racing and what's going on. And, you know, sometimes we get people who are racers, but they don't fit the legends. And you're bringing in the legends and you're bringing in the new folks. And I think that's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Hey, how about a round of applause here for Paul? He's one of us now. His life will never be the same. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
The caution flag is out. Time for a break. We'll be right back with the Legends of Racing radio show. Welcome to Homewood Suites by Hilton in Daytona Beach. You're right in the middle of all the action. Daytona International Speedway, the airport, One Daytona, Florida's newest entertainment and retail destination, and of course, the world's most famous beach. You'll love our newly remodeled 1 and 2 bedroom suites, along with our popular King Studios. You won't need your full kitchen, as Homewood Suites Daytona serves up complimentary breakfast and evening social. It's like home away from home. Go to HomewoodDaytona.com for Homewood Suites by Hilton in Daytona Beach. We're back from where it all began. Racing's original North Turn Beach Bar and Grill. The Legends of Racing radio show continues with your host, Buzz McKim, and co-host, Gary Keller.
Thank you, everybody. We're here with Rich Combs, and this would normally be his time to ask a question, but he's up here with us.
Well, let me introduce.
Yes.
This is Mike. I can tell you a lot of stories about Mike. He's a former paratrooper. He's a Harley guy. He's a dirt track racer. He's a car collector. He's a hot rodder.
All right.
And he's just a mean son of a gun all the way around. So here he is.
All right. Hey, Mike.
Mike.
What's your question, Mike?
Thank you, Rich. I'm not sure all of that is accurate, but it's close enough. I'd like to welcome you to the show. Thank you for taking your time to come, and welcome to Daytona Beach, you and your family.
Thank you.
I've read about your uncle, great uncle. Anybody that's been around motorcycles very long has known what he has done. I heard a little bit as you were speaking. Has anybody else in your family have had the need for the speed to get on and go, like your great uncle?
No. The only one that I can honestly say is that I had the urge to get up in the morning and bring my V-Rod out to the sand and see if I can get up to 136 miles an hour.
Ooh, wouldn't that be nice?
And I thought, I was told, you know, there's no such thing as bad publicity when I was getting arrested. So, but no, honestly,
Understood.
no.
And the other thing I would say, I know you're new to the area, but everybody knows about Daytona and what it's about. I'm sure for your foundation, there is car clubs and organizations that once you get your PR guy, I think you will have a lot of cooperation within the community to get your project done.
Oh, thank you. I sure hope
And if any way I can help you through Rich or somebody, please let me know.
so. That's awesome.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you, Mike. We appreciate
Thanks,
that.
Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah. So I can't believe we're almost through. You see how quick it went?
Yeah.
I think we could probably do another show if you would have the time to come back and give us an update on the foundation and all
That
that.
would be great.
We would really appreciate that. We want to keep in close eye on what's going on there, and we want to be a part of that foundation and a part of the monument, and that would be fantastic.
Great.
Yeah, really appreciate it. Very good. We got some folks we got to say hello to, and some folks that we have to say thank you to. We have Danny over there working the board,
Hey,
and she's
Danny.
doing a wonderful job. Hey. And we've got Rich and Dave over here with the applause signs. They're really, really good at what they do. What? Oh, okay. Good. All right. Well, they deserve a round of applause, too. Yeah. And we want to say thank you to Don Cooper for hooking us up with Paul. We really appreciate that.
Thanks,
Thank
Don.
you, sir. Yeah. And Doc Batzlier, thank you for the amazing things that you gave us today. That's pretty amazing. And also our good friend Paul Snap from Michigan. He sent this little note here about, you remember Paul? Paul's a great guy, and we miss him terribly. But he's up there in Michigan freezing took us off. So we got this, he sent us this note that Mike Moran had passed away. He was 58 years old, and he used to race at New Jersey's Bridgeport, East Windsor, and Flemington, and Pennsylvania's Nazareth Speedway. And he was a 99 Enduro Street Stock champion in Flemington in the Wonder Bread Polka Dot number 129. And he also did a little bit of racing, too. Polka Dot, you remember Days or Talladega Nights with the polka dot car?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's where he got the idea from. But anyway, Mike passed away, and he's survived by his wife and family. And Paul asked if we would mention him, and we certainly have, and we certainly do miss Paul. We hope that he'll get down here one time for vacation or something, or maybe they'll run him out of Michigan. I don't know. But we'll see how that works out. So anything else you'd like to talk about?
No, I do want to say that after coming here, my wife and I are absolutely in love with Daytona and the entire area.
That's great.
As well as the people are the best part of this area. Everybody is just so friendly. It's different from where we came from. And then I also want to say that I want to thank Don for bringing me on. I'm a docent at the Motorsports Hall of Fame.
Oh, that's great.
So I work a grueling 4-hour workday.
Oh, boy.
A couple of days a week, and I am learning so much about all of the racing that's been going on locally and throughout the country with the help of that museum.
Yeah. Well, that's a place to learn. That's
Yes,
for sure.
it's fantastic.
Yeah. They do a beautiful job out there, and we're happy to be associated with them, too. Normally, George Levy is here, the director, but I think he was tied up today, but he sent Don and his beautiful wife in his stead. And we just appreciate being associated with them because they have a great thing going on out there. And I don't care what kind of racing you're into, they've got it out there. They've got it well represented. It's really something.
Well, let me give you a testament to Daytona racing. I collect cars, and I had a transporter come into my place on Tuesday night, and the guy had been in Atlanta at the Porsche North American headquarters. He had picked up a car, and I was the second car for him to pick up. And I says, "What do you have on there?" Because he had made an appointment with Customs. It was a bill of sale only, new Porsche, only one ever built.
Really?
Only one in the United States. That was the first one that came through.
Holy cow.
It came here. It was in our community.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. I'll be
And
darned.
it left going to Fort Myers, and then they were dropping it off to have it wrapped. And he says it was all carbon fiber.
Oh, boy.
I can't even tell you the name on the, but it's really a fast car. They're wrapping it. They're running at Sebring this weekend.
Oh, no kidding.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, son of a gun.
One of one in the world, and it passes through Daytona.
Isn't that
And
amazing?
it's in Sebring.
Yeah, I'll be darned. Yeah, anybody who's anybody has been in Daytona at one time or another. It's amazing the history that this place has. And as far as motorsports, I mean, there's nobody that you can imagine that has not been here.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Well, we're about ready to wrap it up. We have a really interesting lady next week that's going to be our guest. She was a contemporary of Janet Guthrie's. She's got a tremendous history, and she didn't think she really did that much, but when you hear her story, she's amazing. So we'll be sure to have her here next week. I hope you all can make it, and everyone out there, I hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Thank
The
you.
Legends of Racing radio show originates live from the very spot where beach racing began.